Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Cage here. Technically been a little bit since I've posted a video. I have technically recorded some stuff, but you haven't seen any of that yet. I am in the middle of my hiatus, but I have been playing some video games, and I've been recording some, I know the name of it, Elden Ring and whatnot, which has been going decently well. It's a fun game. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Season 1.1 of Last Epoch has dropped now, and I don't remember most of the announcements, and I'm not going to go over everything, but some of the things that I'm excited for. Obviously, as it kind of states, it's 1.1, so it's not like a whole new season of like just a bunch of new stuff that's like super exciting or anything. It's just like some small things that add like a little bit of quality of life to it, which I guess is fun. Made me fun enough to give it a try. Really, it's just kind of an excuse for me to try out a new build and push on the new build and whatnot. I got to like level 96 on my Falconer, and Falconer was fun. But I think I've come up with another build that will be pretty ridiculous. So we're going to be going with a Primalist this time instead of a rogue character. But we'll get to that here in a second. Some of the things they changed, only really the two things to note on that they changed here and there, besides some buffs and nerfs and etc. etc. One I think is kind of cool. I think it could be a little bit cooler, but I understand. We're going to talk a little bit here about, try to go a little bit faster. This one shouldn't take as long as the last one did, because I don't think I have nearly as much to talk about. And what have you, but we'll see. This one's a lot more straightforward than the crazy dodge crit falcon stuff that I was going for, which worked, by the way, but we can get that later. So the kind of cool thing is the Harbingers stuff. To me, it seems like they took a little bit of ideas from D4 with their foraging system, kind of implemented that slightly, but like very different, but like kind of the concept's kind of there. And it feels like they chose the system from one of the like 5 billion systems from Path of Exile that I just, when I played through the campaign, I did not understand it, did not bother with whatsoever. It seems like that was like the idea that they were going for, to where there's, you like decide whether to like execute the criminal or whatever the fuck the dude is, or you like lock him up, or you release him or something like that. It seems like they took that idea and made it more coherent, I would say. It's kind of sad that you can only push them twice before you have to fight them, because I think it would be awesome to like kind of like another one, a season from the Crucible season, I think, from the game I just talked about, Path of Exile, to where you can keep pumping more and more into it, but like the more you do, the harder it becomes and whatnot. So if you can take a hard challenge, you can keep postponing fighting the Harbinger like again and again and again, and like super soup up an item, just like holy shit, this is awesome, and then fight it. But it's gonna be really hard. But if you survive, if you make it somehow, like holy shit, that item's fucking tanked, dude. I don't know what that would look like, because the only thing I can think of that would probably be fucking broken is like tier 7 on everything. But I think it would be nice if you keep pushing it and like slightly either keep re-rolling stuff or tweaking stuff. I just think it would be nice to be able to actually have every stat that you want on the item more easily. The marketplace, the bazaar and whatnot makes that easier to acquire. But it's hard to get tier 7 stuff unless you want to spend like 10 to 20 million per piece, which is kind of bullshit. But I don't know how people make that kind of money. It's crazy. But it seems, I don't think a lot of people would like that, because it seems like the ARPG community, from the second point we're going to talk about, this will bleed into that. The ARPG community is very much like, no, we want it as difficult as possible. I want to have to keep doing the same exact content for the 10th billionth time to finally get the piece I want, to get the perfect piece. I don't understand that mentality. It's like, I kind of get that because, everyone's like, well, that's how D2 was, that's how Diablo 2 was, so we want it like that. And it's just like yeah, that was cool, but like that's an outdated system. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like, I got 2 jobs and a partner. Like, there's some days that I have maybe a good 5-10 hours to sink into a game, but that's not consistent. And I don't want to keep running the same thing a billion times just to finally get a thing to drop that might be close to what I'm looking for. I kind of just want this piece, So, I don't know. That's just me. I know the RPG community is very split on that. There's a lot of purists and whatnot. So confused on something here. That's just like World of Warcraft purists. It's like, no, don't touch our game. But it's like, but these would make the game better. It's like, no, don't touch our game. We love how it is. We love to struggle. I don't know. I don't get it, but then again, I'm not in that community, so I wouldn't understand. Which ties into the other one. I went through and read most, except for like all the buffs and nerfs and stuff, only the stuff I really cared about. But I went through and read most of the patch notes, and there's a lot of cool stuff in there. But one thing that my jaw dropped, and I was like, why? Because I don't know if you watched when I played through on my Falconer with the progress that it takes to level stuff up in the faction system. I was just like, this takes too long. It takes way too fucking long. And also, I spent hours and hours just to get a level or two, and it's like, this takes too long. This takes way too long. So what did the people at EHG decide? Well, they decided, well, you know what? It should take longer. So level, I think it was 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, or it's maybe 97 to 100, I don't remember. Somewhere in the last 3 to 5 levels. From level 99 to 100, they decided it should take 60% longer to get that level. Why? Why? And looking through, I'm so confused on the sounds I'm hearing. Looking through all the comments and stuff, I finally found someone who was like, what the fuck do you mean they made it longer to level up? Like, that's ridiculous. It already took way too long to level up. And the comments are very mixed, but there's ones just like, it should take that long. It should take even longer. It's already too short. It's like, what are you talking about? You guys are fucking crazy. It's like, it's not D4. It's like, I get that, but like, just because D2 took a year to get from like level 60 to 100 doesn't mean that, oh, it's only a good game if it does that. I would say that was a downside of D2. There's not many, but I'd say that was one of them. Like, if you put in 20 to 30 or 40 hours into one character, you should get to level 100. Like, I'm sorry if that's crazy forbidden stuff to say, but like, you should get to level 100. That's fucking batshit insane that people are like, no, it should take 1,000 hours. Like, no, it fucking shouldn't. So like, I don't fucking get that at all. So I thought that was absolutely appalling information, that they made it even harder, and they even put 2 more tiers into all the faction systems. And their grand gesture was like, well, hey, we dropped the experience required for the factions, but only from the second to last tier to the last tier. And we gave you a huge boost to this. It used to take 3.4 million experience. No, only 3.1. You're welcome. It's like, oh, 300,000 less. I'll definitely notice that out of the 3 fucking million experience. That takes too long. But hey, I probably won't get to the end of it all, and EHG seems completely okay with that. I don't know. I'm not a game designer, so I wouldn't know. I'll put them out there. That's fair. I'm not a game designer. But I feel like if I was a game designer, I would want someone to fully experience and explore my game. Not like, I don't even fucking care if you see everything. Like, we're just going to make it take forever to get there so you won't even get there in the first place. That doesn't compute to me, but then again, I'm not a game designer, so I don't know. Anyways, we spend too much time talking about that because I do like to ramble on. So I decided just kind of randomly that I was going to play a Primalist for the new split. Because I want to try to play something different for every single cycle, as they call it, every season. If I keep playing and recording it, just give me an excuse to try to get a different character in our build to end-game stuff. And the reason I naturally drawn to the Primalist is I think I have made more and played more Primalist characters than any other class in the entire game. In my opinion, the Primalists not only have the most build diversity to them, but like the most fun build diversity to them. Like with Druid alone, there's so many different paths to which you can take. Obviously, there's there's one for each form. You can just focus on werebear. You can focus on physical werebear. You can focus on getting caster werebear to shoot out ice thorns and stuff, and have just maelstrom swirling around you. You can be just a Spriggan. You can do like some kind of high minion, like get Stormcrows and get the 2 summon Spriggans and stuff, and just go heavy that way. Or you can just focus on just tons of fucking vines, or you can mix vines into that minion build, or just shooting, spell crit, healing. So many different ways you can go with there. And there's the Swarm Blade, which you can just go straight Swarm Blade. You can do a heavy poison build. You can do a heavy bleed build. You can even do well, I think this kind of goes into the other builds anyways, but you can do, obviously there's a crit build and tags me and stuff. I'll show you that one later. But you can also put minions in there, because in Spriggan form you can constantly trigger minion abilities, so you can throw minions in there if you want. Like, there's so many different builds just by the single ones. Then there's one that I tried a long time ago that I might do again someday for one of these cycles, to where you can rotate through all 3 of them, because in every single tree for those 3 abilities, you like for werebear, for Spriggan, for Swarmblade, there's a node that will turn you into a different class based off of what ability you use. So I would go werebear, and then I would use ability, and then when I was almost up on the rage, I would then swap over to Spriggan. I would instantly go into Spriggan form, do a bunch of stuff there, then rinse and repeat. Once you got low on the rage, swap over to Swarmblade, and just keep continuously cycling through the 3 continuously. And that's just Druid. There's like 7 or 8 builds I just named there that's specifically just Druid. Now, are all of them like you can push super far in game? Probably not, but they're fun and you can do them. BeastMaster, I really feel there's only like kind of 2 to 3 that I've really come up with that sounds fun to me. One's one I'm going to be showing you later, which you can kind of go even farther with that and focus away from bleeding into just kind of like physical spells that you get from like Shaman, like Tornado and Earthquake, and just go heavy physical with some pets backing you up kind of thing. Or you can just go pure minion, or you can you can use the different stances. You can try to get, or aspects, or you can try to go into all the aspects, like the shark, the boar, the lynx, etc. Viper. You could try going into all of them, just focusing in certain stances. Like, besides that, that's all I could really find with BeastMaster. There's a no attack BeastMaster that I originally did with the BeastMaster, which wasn't as fun, but it was still kind of cool, to where you get every single animal companion, summon all 4 of them, or maybe even throw a wolf in there too if you can, but I don't know if you can. And then drop the Frenzy Totem, frenzy them all, and let them just go like it's a Warlock, not Warlock, a Acolyte minion build. Yeah. And Shaman have a few different, like, you can go for heavy spells or just pure totems, which we'll show you here. Like, Primalists just have so much diversity to them. It's ridiculous. So that's why I find myself drawn to creating characters, because there's just so much build diversity, and it's a lot of fucking fun. So if we can actually finally bring down the screen now after 16 minutes, my bad. You know I love to talk. This should go faster, but who knows. So I toyed around with the thought of a Shaman, which was the totem one, just pure totem mixed with electricity with Gathering Storm and Tempest Strike. Just gathering mana with Gathering Storm, and just having just AoE lightning bolts fucking everywhere on top of the AoE lightning bolts from your Storm Totem, and then just draining your mana with Tempest Strike, just doing a bunch of those things, and then letting it build back up. Push 1 button, drop 5 Thorn Totems, drop the Summon Totem, heal yourself with the Tyr's Blessing or one of your totems, and it will drop 2 healing. You can drop up to 2 healing totems, just getting 8 totems out on the field, which you can see it just creates crazy resistances and whatnot. But that one is cool, but it just didn't grip me as much. Then this one that I think that I'm actually playing with right now, it is a lot of fun, but it's like pretty much the exact same thing I did with Falconer, and I didn't want to repeat that twice in a row, except for dodge. Cutting out dodge, obviously, 0 dodge chance. It's just pure attack speed, crit, and wolves. Just have 3 summon wolves and just go pure attack speed, crit, Swarm Blade build, which is a lot of fun, because you get, like, I think I just had like 1 blessing, and then the implicit from this ring, and I have like 90% crit chance. Like, that's it. Just the crit from here and the crit from here, like 90% crit chance. And I think, well, yeah, and crit from passives. It's pretty nuts, because while you're in Swarmblade, you can get the 10% base plus 4% base from a dagger, 4% base from the wing, which gives you 23% base. Back from, pardon the interruption there. Pretty much as I was saying, 23% base crit, right? Well, if you go to the passives in the Druid tree, if you max out Bushstalker and Rageborn, that's 200% increase attack crit chance times 23 by 2, 46. Add that on to the 23, you get 69. 70% crit just from passives. Then you add, if you get 100% on there, it's like 90 some percent, like 92% crit chance, and then get 50% from there. Even if you just get 25% from there, that's boom, 100% crit chance just from 1 blessing, 1 implicit, and 1 passive. 100% crit chance. You don't actually have to put it on any of your weapons. You don't have to have it on any of your armor, your weapons, none. Crazy. And of course, we're peaking up here around. I did the math of when you're in Swarmblade, you activate the tornado. It goes off a tornado. You give yourself another 20% increased attack speed. Get the increased attack speed from there. The increased attack speed from there. This thing's actually way higher. I can't remember what the calculations were, but you're getting up into the mid to late 200s. So like, this thing can almost, it's peaking close to 300% increased attack speed, 100% crit, nasty, lots of physical pen, like, yeah, nasty build that I'm really excited to play with and have fun with and whatnot in Swarmblade and everything. It's good times. But it was way too close to the Falconer. The other Druid, because I kind of wanted to do Swarmblade, but I think I'm swayed away from Swarmblade just because of how this worked. But this is my full poison. I think it says somewhere. I don't think you can see that anywhere. No, it's my full poison build. However, and this will be good to keep in mind. Even with all these increases to poison damage and damage over the time, a fuckload of damage increase. Poison only still capping around only 364 damage over the duration, and you can't really extend the duration of poison besides the Chitin Claws and Serpent Strike itself gives you 40% increased duration. So you can get a little bit increased duration to poison, but not a whole lot. Not that I know if that's good or not. So it doesn't seem like poison is incredibly strong in comparison to bleed. So we kind of ended on bleed. I think we're actually going to go BeastMaster for this split coming up here. This cycle. I think we're going to go for a BeastMaster. We're just going to focus Raptor, Sabertooth, and Upheaval, because I was thinking it's initially spawned from like what would be a BeastMaster build you can maybe do with just like a pet or two and go like heavy into certain get Tornado, get Earthquake, Upheaval, stuff like that, and just do a physical spell BeastMaster kind of build kind of thing, you know what I mean? And that ended up being like, well, how would bleed do? And here we are. So it got heavy into the bleed aspect of everything. So we're going for a bleed Raptor, Sabertooth, BeastMaster build. Still tons of attack speed, fuckloads of movement speed, as you can see there. It's gonna get nasty. Now we're gonna take this piece by piece like we did last time, go over it a little bit faster because there's not a whole lot of things comboing with one another, but I have that all written out so I don't have to keep jumping back and forth, and we can just go through nicely. So we're going to start with the skills. I am going to try to get a +2 to Upheaval, which is very easy to do. Not like super easy, but it's easy compared to trying to get a tier 7 +4 to something, which some of those other builds requires. So Upheaval, as you can see here, it's going to be our physical attack that we used. That is going to be the only one that we use, and we only have 100 mana, which is a little risky. However, not getting things like the Fault Lions, which would probably be pretty nice. I imagine those damage would be really awesome, but as you can see, the mana cost just like jumps up, so we can't really use it that way. It has base 10 mana cost. We get rid of 6 mana cost, so it only costs 4 mana per cast. We can cast it 20 plus times before we're out of mana. Chances of us doing that in one fight, 30% chance to shred armor as well, doesn't hurt. Going down this direction, 40% area. The area is nice to get so we can kill down a lot of people, but that's really just to get to these other two passives here. Since we're rolling with an axe, this gives us 90% chance to bleed with Upheaval, and also double, since we have a two-handed weapon. We have 80% physical penetration on Upheaval. I imagine that's going to do a lot of damage, especially with that 16% damage mixing with 100% increased damage if they're up close to us. So that means if they're, which we will be using this mostly in melee range, we might use it a few times when we're getting close to people, with people running at us, so it might not always be up close 100% increased melee range, but if it is, it's 116% increased damage to Upheaval's damage, which when you see our physical damage, that's a lot. And of course 50% chance to do shockwave, so we can continue to hit AoE and hit multiple stuff that doesn't get hit by our initial Upheaval, if that's a thing, which I assume will happen occasionally. So that's all for Upheaval. Fury Leap, let's see, we go down here. When we land, we get plus 15 global melee damage. Very nice. Both our Sabertooth and our Raptor will leap with us. Really cool. Upon landing, we get Frenzy, which is where some of the attack speed buff will come later. We'll talk about that later. Damage per meter traveled. I don't know. That's just to get to this other stuff, but it's all right. Health Leech and damage from the landing portion. Very nice, because we already do have a decent amount of health leech. Not a crazy amount, but a decent amount. So 9% increase on Fury Leap. I actually don't think it would be an increase, because I think it's a melee. Oh, this is a melee spell, so I don't know if it counts for that. We'll see. We'll have to experiment, see what happens. But you know, more damage, more leech. Why not? Crit mult going up. We're not going to crit, but we might crit if we get the shrine, but that's like it. Not critting on this build. No crits. Not worrying about that. But the important part is cast Upheaval on the land. So when we jump in, not only is Warcry going to pull stuff in, which we'll talk about when we get there, but also Fury Leaps where I land will also pull me in, pull enemies in. Gonna pull enemies in as we land, pull in, upheaval them at the same time. That's gonna be a fun way to start off combat. Damage, just again to get to the pull in here. Yeah, just increase damage and go to some CDR on it. Nice stuff. Warcry, as I mentioned, I don't like using Warcry unless I get Apprehend. I don't like the knockback, because I'm like 9 times out of 10 use Warcry to activate Berserker. That's usually one of the only reasons why I use Warcry, like, ever. And when I do that, I don't want to knock them away from me and then try to run and get Berserker stacks popping. I want the pulled in. I just can't stand pushing people, knocking enemies away with Warcry. Drives me insane. But there's also another way to pull them into melee range, you know, pull them together so I can slam them with Upheaval, which is cool. Of course, making it hit so that we can add 5 bleed stacks to every enemy that's hit by Warcry. Very nice. That's going to combo with our Raptor here in a second, but just also give universal bleed stacks, which is cool. Invulnerable. I mean, it's nice in general if you really get timing certain maybe boss mechanics and whatnot. You could pop it right as the boss is about to hit a instant KO kind of ability, and you can just tank it. That can be useful, but also gets us to Berserker, which increases melee damage, additive melee damage per stack, up to 10 stacks, up to 15 stacks with Brutality, as well as increasing the duration on it, because the duration is incredibly short. But the big kicker here is not only is the plus physical damage really nice, but also the additional 50% attack speed on 3 stacks. It only caps at 50% because otherwise 15 times 12 would be insane. Would be absolutely insane attack speed just all by itself, so it obviously caps at 50%, but that's going to combo with our attack speed later, you will see. And also it'll also affect our Raptor, not our Sabertooth, unfortunately, but our Sabertooth has so much fucking attack speed anyways, that doesn't really matter. And this will also combo with just damage increases that Raptors give themselves constantly. So that's on Warcry there. Pretty much I only ever really use Warcry for Berserker usually, but it combos really well with the bleed stacks. Raptor, pretty much everything I can do to get this motherfucker to bleed. 160% bleed chance, damage against bleeding targets, so not only is it going to help me bleed, I'm going to be bleeding stuff, but once something is bleeding, it does 30% increased damage to them, which is a decent little chunk. Nothing crazy, but decent. But this one right here, that combo I was talking about, in for the kill, melee damage increase per nearby bleeding enemy. So if I happen to be in a pack of a bunch of people, it's not going to last for very long, because I imagine, since I'm doing tons of AoE, that they'll die pretty quickly. But if I use my Warcry, and let's say I hit 10 enemies that are standing around me that are now all bleeding instantaneously, that's 40% increased damage. You know, just for free that my Raptor gets just because I used Warcry. You know what I mean? Like, that's decent. That's a decent combo. Nothing like crazy. It's not like 5,000, unless it's that many enemies, which I'd probably just instantly die. Never seen that many enemies. But, you know, it's not insane, but like, you know, 40% mixed with 30%, 70% on that. I mean, you're stacking, it's adding up there. Of course, also 60% damage over time, because, you know, more bleeding for my pet. Why not? And if I understand this correctly, which now I think I do, because I was because I had to look up how bleed works in this game because I thought it was how much damage it tells me, which we'll look up here in a second or in a few minutes here. I don't want to spoil it for you now, but I thought it was like that's how much damage it did per second. Well, that's how much damage it does over the duration. That's why I found out how bleeding works here. So I thought it meant like every 0.5 seconds, so twice a second, you're getting hit with the bleed, which would be nutty. That'd be broken nutty. It's not that crazy. But however, doubling the duration to which you bleed out from the bleed duration, which ours is triple the duration. 25% chance to bleed when you see how much attack speed my pets will have. If I hit a boss, it's going to happen very soon, very quickly. So they're going to start bleeding twice as fast. That's just great. Great damage increase there. Just more damage for my raptors, because raptors with rampage, which tells me somewhere. I don't. Oh, it tells me in the buffs. Rampage just gives 40% to like everything to the raptor, like attack speed, cast speed, damage, move speed, like it just gives 40% like everything. But it only affects the raptor though. That's why it's a big buff like that. But yeah, everything to make him hit faster and harder. Yes, please. I don't know if this is infinite because it doesn't have a number here, but maybe it has a number in the game. We'll have to check that out. Your raptor gains more damage for 10 seconds when it kills an enemy, multiplicative with other modifiers. This effect can stack. Nowhere does it say how much it stacks. So I assume it just as much as it kills within 10 seconds, and then it just keeps falling. Each stack falls off per 10 seconds because it doesn't refresh the stacks. So, I mean, that could be very little in some circumstances. It could be a lot. There's a lot of weak things that the raptor just goes and just fucks up. Chance with how much AoE I'm doing that this won't stack a whole lot, but still, for 1 point, it can, for seconds, could stack up a decent chunk of damage increase. Whenever my raptor kills an enemy, it gets haste for 4 seconds. Very cool. Help it kill more stuff to combo with haste for flesh. And adaptation, I think it's just fun in general. It's decently strong. It's nothing crazy, but the size increase and the damage after it kills an enemy in his zone, it just increases for the rest of that zone. It's just fun to see happen, and it just lets you know, okay, my raptor's killing, and size and damage is useful. Nothing crazy, but it's just fun. There might be something else around here, like well, these some other things. There might be something else that'd be more useful for my raptor, but like it's just fun. I want to have fun. Oh yeah, that's the thing about these builds. Not necessarily optimal, but they're fun. Same thing with the dodge build. The dodge, leech, attack speed, movement speed, mini damage falconer that I made. A lot of fun. Like a lot of fucking fun. Like a crazy amount of fun. Super optimal? I mean, I don't know. You're not pushing thousands of corruption, but then again, you're not supposed to, unless the build's broken. But like, yeah, there's, I even have it on recording. There's a boss fight that I did that I stood in like every mechanic and dodged every single one of them. Didn't get hit once by the boss. Doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens, it's like, I'm invincible. It's pretty cool. So I go for fun. So optimal? Don't know, but fun? Yes. As for the Sabertooth, bleed chance 33%, pretty low, but it's a 1 point, so it's not horrible. Increased damage over time, because yes, bleed, all about that. Attack speed, move speed, always useful. Compounded with this, Sabertooth has increased attack speed and has a chance to cause enemies to bleed, but Sabertooth takes more damage. Unfortunate, but 50% bleed chance, 50% increased attack speed just has that for taking 33% more damage. I'll take it. I will take it, especially since I'll be in melee and it's not all up to my Sabertooth, and it's also the raptor to distract him as well. I'll take that risk. For 83% bleed and plus 62% increased attack speed, I'll take that chance. And if it gets to low health, I think it has, the leech stacks which we'll see a little bit here in the passes. But leech stacks. 10% melee leech on low health and 130% increased damage on low health. So if it does survive with low health, it's going to heal that up pretty fucking fast. And 25% chance to do flurry swipes. I did look up what flurry swipes was because I wasn't sure. Just 3 swipes in rapid succession. That's it, nothing special, but does 3 hits. That's 3 chances to stack poison. Not poison, bleed. And just do quick triple hit of damage. And with how fast my Sabertooth specifically is going to be attacking, that's going to proc a lot, which is going to do 3 hits in quick succession continuously. 30% increased health. I didn't want too much increased health, but recovering 15% of that whenever it uses its HP when it uses leap is nice. But I do want it to get low occasionally to get that increased damage, so I don't want too much increased health, but 30% is not too bad. After it leaps, it just says after leaping. I don't know if that's its ability specifically. I think it has that. I don't know if its ability is to leap or not, or if its ability is just flurry swipes. No clue, but it uses them after it leaps. Very, very interesting. I don't think there's a leap attack anywhere. So I think that's how. I think its ability is to leap. And then it'll use flurry swipes, and flurry swipes has 100% increased bleed chance. And crit if we're low health, but crit doesn't matter. That'll be nice if it does crit, but that's whatever. So 25% flurry swipes. Flurry swipe will always bleed. Every hit will always bleed. And it'll probably give them about 2 stacks, unless that's just it caps at 100 and doesn't add your bleed chance to it. It's just flurry swipe specifically only does that. It's a hit, so I believe it adds my other bleed stacks to that, so that's adding 2 stacks of bleed 3 times, so 6 stacks of bleed instantly. Pretty cool. So that is all the skills. We're going to move on to the passives real quick. Starting up at the top here. I say real quick. So obviously getting the strength, because we could get the health and the minion health, but I want to have some fun, so we're just going to go balls to the wall damage. We are getting the 10% increased health, so that is something, and 40 health restored every 3 seconds. Leech coming right here, increased damage as well as melee damage leech for myself and my pet at 3%. And whenever Hunter's Restoration procs, it also heals my allies for that much. It's not a lot, it's only 40, but that's still something. Or my companions, and it gives them 55% increased damage for 3 seconds, so that is a nice little buff there as well. And then we're just going hard at the BeastMaster. Druid and Shaman do have some useful stuff, but I think I just wanted to get straight into BeastMaster. Now they switched some things around for 1.1 that you may have noticed if you did not already know. Venom and Porcine Constitution? Porcine? Don't know. These got swapped, which is a good thing. And the passive that was on Natural Fortitude, that was over here, got put onto Constitution, which is the aspect of more chance on melee hit. Got swapped over to that because on every single one of my builds for a Primalist, no matter what it was, I would get Ursine Strength, Boarheart, and maybe Porcine Constitution if I had the points for it or not. But every fucking build. Why? Because it's broken. So they needed to make it BeastMaster only for at least the second half of that, which this will come into play when we start talking about my health and whatnot, because my health is quite low, especially for a melee character at max level, but we'll see. We still might get one shot, but you know what? Fun. It's because max out Ursine Strength, you take negative 16% damage from enemies. Mixed with Aspect of Boar, that's another 15%, and this can pop up another 15%. So if you max these 3 nodes out, no matter what character you're on, that's taking negative 45% damage from enemies around you. You take pretty much half damage from everything. And then add armor on that for physical and elemental. Like, you take that for every fucking build. You know what I mean? So they had to separate this. Like, that's fair. Anyways, Earth Sign Strength, because just, I mean, obviously you have to get hit first for Aspect of the Boar to pop. Chances are you're going to get hit at least once before that pops, so the first hit still has a chance to do extra damage to you. But still, that's a risk. Yeah, that's still just really fucking strong. But yeah, 8 strength, negative 16% increase damage. Just damage just taken just in general from nearby enemies, incredibly strong. 1 point into savagery so that we can get the shark aspect of the shark, which gets disgusting. And then 5 into lamprey. Teeth for the melee leech and minion melee leech, as well as increased minion health leech by 100%. So you remember that 9%, add that 7.5%, add that 3%, that's 10.5, 19, 100%. Like, if my Sabertooth gets a low health, if I'm doing that math correctly, I'm pretty sure that is like 38 to 40% leech. All damage it does, it heals. So not really worried about my Sabertooth getting too low, more worried about my Sabertooth getting one shot. But if that happens, I have more important things to worry about, like myself getting one shot. 1 point ambush, because I don't really care about the increased damage for the next attack every 3 seconds. I just want the aspect of the shark buff. Or every 5 seconds, excuse me. I just want the aspect of the shark buff, which grants 75% increased melee damage and 10% melee attack speed. Nice buffed combo with everything else. While aspect shark's on, we get 40% increased armor shred. Decent. And increase the aspect of the shark duration, which will combo with other stuff here in a second, which makes it pretty ridiculous. But the most important thing about Hunters of the Deep, at least the reason to put 1 point into it, is because our companions gain aspect of the shark as well. 3 into Boarheart, because it's a 2-second cooldown. So that means if we're in combat for longer than 3 seconds, we can keep popping aspect of the boar up on us at all times, in theory, unless it has to drop for a second, then get hit, and then it comes back. Very possible. But it sounds like it'll stay up and whatnot. While aspect of the boar is on us, we get increased physical damage and bleed chance. Love it for a bleed build. You love to see it. The chase, increased minion attack speed, cast speed, move speed, and rival speed. You love to see it. We're fucking with some strong minions. I want that. Deep wounds. This is going to combo with some other physical pen we have. Pretty fucking gross. Physical penetration with bleed with aspect of the boar. So whenever aspect of the boar is on, we're penetrating 105% of physical penetration for the bleeding aspect. So bleed is penetrating that, not our physical attacks. But still, that means bleed is pretty much doing true damage to motherfuckers, unless there's some kind of stuff I don't know about. It's like bosses actually don't get affected by, or some fucking trash like that. Or it's like at a reduce, so they can never actually drop below 100%. You never fucking know with the RPGs. There's all those little hidden modifiers that people find out about. And it's just like, oh, cool. So it doesn't actually, but let's hope it does. If that's true, that means our bleed is just doing straight pure damage that's not being affected by physical resistances at all. That's fucking gross. Okay, so maybe it's gonna be a long video, but you already knew that. You're already like, you serious? Plus, just additive melee damage to myself and my minions. You love to see that. Poor sign for the chance to on a melee hit, which our main physical upheaval ability is melee, and it does hit, so therefore it can proc that. Increase health regen as well while we have aspect of the boar up, and more damage reduction granted. You love to see it. Circle of life, like this whole tree here is just grody. So there's a chance, besides the every 5 seconds that ambush can proc. There's just a 20% chance on kill that will proc Aspect of the Shark anyways, which I think means that we can keep reprocking it, keeping it up, but I'm not 100% positive on that. And health, 28 health on kill, doesn't hurt. Also chance on hit against rare enemies or bosses to proc this as well, which is very important in games like this, because if the boss is not spawning ads, this isn't going to happen. So also being able to trigger it on just hitting a boss is also very nice. Aspect of the Shark effect, making the effect of it this 75% increased damage, 10% attack speed, increased by 120%. That's very nice. And the duration increased by 120%. Very cool. And then this little bitch right here makes us fucking broken as hell. Feeding Frenzy. It can now stack up to 10 times. But its effect is 60% less. Under halves it. However, we just increased it by 120. So it's actually still increased by 60% effectiveness. That shouldn't be the way that is. I mean, it is 9 points to get that to happen, but even if you put 4 points in here, it completely nullifies the less effect thing. So that's kind of nutty. It's kind of fucking nuts. And then 2 points in the primal aspect can increase the duration by 20%. Why 20%? Because we have 60% here. We have 120% here, which is 180%, and then 20% there to make it 200%. Which means when Aspect of the Shark procs, that buff is going to be for 9 seconds. If the math is mathin' like I think it's mathin', that means we'll have it up for 9 seconds. And the attacks, I believe here, I'm not sure, it doesn't say. It doesn't say. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It doesn't say that it refreshes the stacks, so it might fall off. It might not be as fucking crazy as I feel like it might be, but still. Still, it stacks up to 10 times. So if that stacks all the way up, that even with an axe, which we're using a two-handed axe, but even with a two-handed weapon, that still would be giving us 700 and some percent increased damage and 97% attack speed. It's just broken. It's absolutely broken. I don't think it restacks it, so it might be harder to get up there and keep up there. But I don't know, 20% chance per attack on a boss. I could see us, with how fast we're going to be attacking, which you'll see here in a little bit. I can see that being really good. Viper Fangs. Even if you don't have Aspect of the Viper on, this ability here just gives you 50% increased attack speed and 50% increased minion attack speed. It just does for 10 points. So, that's a no-brainer. But if it does pop, it gives me 100% increased damage over time, which for bleed is really nice. And 100% chance to poison and hit, which is more damage. Nothing super special, but I'll take more dot damage. But yeah, so I would take this even if Aspect of the Viper did absolutely nothing for me. But it does give me 100% increased damage over time, so I will take it. I will absolutely take it. But that 50% melee attack speed is just fucking ridiculous. And then just +5 strength and +5 added damage to myself and my minions to wrap it all up here. Now, bring it over to our character screen here before we go to the equipment and idols and blessings and call it a day. Blessings and then idols, because blessings are less exciting. Especially on this one. So we only have 2,400 health, right? It's not great, right? that's a not that high level of health threshold. However, if we come over here to defense and you look at our EHP, which is estimated or effective health pool, effectively how much health we have estimated. It's 5,000. It's 5,000 right there. Because not only do we have the negative 20% damage taken from Aspect of the Boar, but then 16% on top of that for the enemies just being around me. which is 43. And then we have 22% mitigation from physical attacks from armor, which I think is only half. It's only, no, it's like, it's either half, a third, 2/3 is effective against elemental. It's mostly for physical, but it does do something for elemental resistance mitigation as well. On top of that, yeah, we're mitigating. As soon as aspect of the boar is on top of us, we are mitigating so much health. We have effectively over, it gets physical, and this gets elemental. We have over double our health pool and effective health. Now, of course, we have to not get one shot so that aspect of the boar can be applied. But once it is, yeah, we're not taking a lot of damage. We're effectively taking under half damage at all times. So, you know, may not have a lot of health, but that's looking pretty good. Movement speed is fucking nuts. I did add haste onto there, but as you saw from the passive, I actually might skip that. I did skip that passive. The one passive I skipped. My bad. I don't care about the dodge rating and the minion dodge rating. It's not really significant to me whatsoever, but just a 50% chance for me and my minions to haste themselves and me to haste myself. 50% chance on every hit to get haste. So that's going to be up for a while. That's going to be up decently consistently in between packs and whatnot. So I just put that buff in there. Put the haste buff in there just because, as well as the fact that what it's not adding in is if we get this onto armor, which is it's the boots. If we get this boot and we get up to around 50% increased haste effect, pretty sure that's gonna add another 15% if I'm getting that right. 15% increased movement speed. So we're actually looking at potentially just running around at 90% movement speed, like on the rakes. But that also is if I get tier 7 movement speed on my boots, which could be hard to do, or just really expensive. Really not necessarily hard to do, but expensive to do. You never know. But if all of that falls into line here, we're looking at flying around 90% increased movement speed at like all times. Now resistances aren't great, ain't much to write home about, but we have a lot of wiggle room on max, so I have a feeling that release can be close to the cap of 75, maybe a point or two over. So I'm not really worried about these numbers. It just really depends if we get the higher of the tier 5s on some of these resistances or not. So not super worried about that. I think that's all for general here. We'll go to our offensive, and then when we get to the minion, when we're on offensive, we'll talk about the abilities that I have here. Then when we get to minion, we'll talk about the minion abilities I have. So offensive is going to receive, we're rolling around 140% increased attack speed. But that's not 100% correct. If I got it right here, yeah. So 144% attack speed, just flat. Again, that is if I have aspect of the shark, which you can see there in the bottom, maxed at 10 stacks. It gives me 97% increased attack speed, which is dumb. But it's also hoping that I get a good tier 6, tier 7 attack speed on my gloves as well. But still decent. 50% of that is coming from the passive. That's kind of nutty, I'm not gonna lie. But we'll also be able to semi-consistently pop not only Frenzy but also Berserker on us, which I've tested before, unless they've patched that recently in like the new cycle. That stacks. So Frenzy gives us 20%, if I can find the number, 20% increased attack speed, and Berserker will get us up to around 48% increased attack speed. So if everything is popping, we got the 10, we have that glove prefix, we have the 10 stack of aspect of shark, and we pop Berserk and Frenzy simultaneously for a good 2 seconds to 3 seconds. We're crushing at 212% approximately attack speed. 200% increase attack speed on a two-handed axe. just sprays. We're probably gonna run out of mana fast, but you know what? When it happens, it's gonna be sexy. We might have to do something with our mana. I might have to fiddle some stuff around here. Maybe try to get a sealed aspect of just mana increase or something like that. Probably gonna need that, but at the time given. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at. Attack speed for here. Crit chance just base. We're not doing anything with crit multi here. 130 plus 15 from the passives, and 130 just from the axe implicit itself. It's a lot of additive damage here. If you're looking at this number right here, at max, we're getting close to 2,000% increased damage on 145 physical damage. That upheaval gonna fucking hurt, and it increases itself by 100%. So you know it's gonna fucking hurt. Most of this is implicit and whatnot. Again, this even without aspect of the shark maxing out, that's 1,000% increased physical damage, which is really nice. But 727.5% increase melee damage from aspect of the shark. Like that's not really okay. And at a peak around 200%, that 20% chance to activate it from a boss hit, against bosses, especially if they live long enough, should definitely be able to get to max stacks on aspect of the shark. Killing stuff, it'll probably happen pretty consistently, but it'll probably fall a stack or two or something, or however it works, will probably fall off in between packs. So we do have Fury Leap to try to stop that from happening, but if it does a proc off of a kill, you kill a whole pack, you only get maybe one. Like, you know, there's going to be a little bit of discrepancy with that, I'm sure. We do get a guarantee stack every 5 seconds, but you know. So there'll be a little discrepancy with that, but if everything's popping, if we get it to 10 stacks, which we will do eventually, it's probably especially against a boss, yeah, that's between 1,700 to, if of course once we get everything maxed and whatnot, if we get all the gear, that's almost 2,000% damage increase. That's fucking nutty. Down here, bleed chance 401. Don't forget that 90% of that is added onto upheaval. Upheaval has an extra 90%, so that's actually around 490% increased bleed chance. So every time we hit someone with upheaval, we're playing 5 stacks. Every time we use Warcry, we're playing 5 stacks. So this 698 bleed damage over the duration is for 1 stack, which is, you can see the bleed duration. We can have a potential to getting it up around 180 to 220% duration, which is also a 3-second bleed, is also a 3-second duration. So just like aspect of the shark, which is 3-second duration, if my math is mathing, 200% increase should be a 9-second. So bleed, I should have 9 seconds to stack up bleed charges. Each one of those doing 700 damage throughout its duration. That's a lot. At 200% attack speed, that's a lot of bleeding. If my math is mathing, that's a fuckload of bleeding. Now, why I decided to go with the bleed over the poison is because the base of bleed is 53. The base of bleed is poison is 28. I don't know if it's because it's a different physical thing, but then again, remember that my bleed damage, if I can find it here, has approximately 120 to 120% physical bleed penetration because of the physical penetration I have attached to that axe. So in theory, they don't have any resistances against that. So I don't understand why poison is so nerfed compared to bleed. I'm not 100% comparative to that, but if we look at my druid here, with all those increased to poison damage and damage over times, with very little physical increase and mostly just damage over times, nothing specializing into bleed chance or bleed damage or or physical damage, like only very little increase to physical damage. Physical bleed's still doing more than poison. And look at the duration discrepancy. Like, doesn't seem like poison's nearly as strong as bleed. Unless there's something I'm missing. It really doesn't seem like it's as strong. But I don't know. So yeah, 5 stacks of bleed per hit. 9 seconds, 700 damage over the 9 seconds, I believe is how it works, unless this is still calculating it with 3 seconds, in which case. With a 25% chance per minion hit on my raptor to double that speed. So like, if this looks as gross as I think it looks, it gonna hurt. it real gonna hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, it gonna hurt. That bleed damage gonna hurt. So I'm looking forward to that. This looks pretty gross. Okay. And the last thing here on offense, about 388% armor shred. If you remember, with upheaval, we get additional 30% shred on that, and that is going to be okay. Sorry, and that's going to be our main source of damage. So we actually shred 4 stacks of armor shred per attack as well, which is 400 armor. So we do 400 armor, which is also unlimited from the enemy per hit as well. So not only do we penetrate 90% of physical resistance with upheaval, we also shred 400 of their armor at the same exact time. So yeah. So yeah, that's fun. Defenses, I don't think there's anything we're talking about. Health leech all the way at the bottom here. So we ourselves, I already told you about our minions health leech. Us ourselves, we have 11% health leech with 43% increase on the health leech. So I think that factors out to approximately 15% of the just the hits that we do, the melee hits that we do, not our dots, not our bleed, unfortunately, which would be gross, but probably a good thing. 15% of the damage we do kills us. I'm pretty cool with that. I'm pretty down with that. Down to minions. On the natch, 86% increase attack speed. It doesn't look like it's adding that passive. Increase companion melee attack speed. I don't think is that factoring that? I don't think it's factoring that. But why is it not? Because it's factoring the other one. Minion. Oh, because it's not counting this as companion attack speed. So that's actually higher than I thought, because my minions are companions. Am I right? Is it special? Yep, mine is a minion and a companion. So it's actually higher. It's grosser than I thought it was. I don't know if there's a cap or a diminishing returns on attack speed. I don't know if that exists in this game, or if I would just make the game crash, but I did not notice that. I figured that 86% was just from the disgusting amount that 50% was adding in there. That's not even present. That's not even present in that number. Gross. All right, well, let's see where my companions are. So raptors, the raptor itself has 83% increased attack speed, or 86. That's supposed to be 6. No, 183. With all of its passives here, it doesn't give itself any additional attack speed. However, we have the 86 natural plus the 97% that comes from my aspect of the shark. Because if you remember, with this buddy right here, companions also gain aspect of the shark every time that I do. And so they also stack up to that 97% increase. So that means my Raptor gets up to 183, which apparently that's plus 50% there. And whenever it's rampaging, which gives us a 40% increase attack speed, it also gets up to 223% increase attack speed. Apparently plus 50. So if every math is mathing and everything stacks the way I think it does, that's 273%. And that's almost 300% increase attack speed. That does almost 300% increase attack speed, which my Sabertooth pretty much does get, which is awesome. My Raptor's damage increase just has plus 35% increase physical. And I guess we should go to Sabertooth as well. Sabertooth, same thing. Same way to get to the 183 from the 97 plus the 86 and whatnot. The only difference is my Sabertooth actually gives itself 12% plus 50, so 62%. That's the only difference there. It gives itself an additional 62%. So it gets up to 245% increased attack speed, which I thought was crazy, but now I think it's actually 295. So it actually does pop around 300% increased attack speed. And 300% attack speed with a 25% chance that one of those is going to be an instantaneous 3 hits in one. That's crazy, right? That sounds batty, right? That sounds absolute batshit insane. Physical damage about 640%. Everything, as you see in their skill tree, every single thing we have is physical ever, so that's the only thing we need to look at. Plus 15, nothing crazy. But 640% increase damage, which plus the aspect of the shark on top of there, we're looking about 1,367% increased physical damage to both my Raptor and my Sabertooth. Now with the Raptor, that will change, of course. As you saw, the Raptor is going to give itself 10% increased damage on kills, and once it gets to a certain amount of kills in the zone, it'll get another 15% on top of that. So, and they do both have their own damage over time increasers as well for their bleeds, so that number will fluctuate, but roughly if I have 10 stacks on the shark, we're looking about well over 1,300 increase damage, just kind of consistently if I can keep those stacks consistent, which is nice. The bleed damage is half of ours, which is okay because they're just going to be adding their own bleed stacks on top of theirs, on top of mine. They also get the shared, because each single one is shared bleed duration, so they also get the 9-second bleed duration, which is nice. Again, half of our damage, but that's okay. It says 57% increased bleed chance, but that's not talking about them specifically. Now, I'm not sure exactly how this works, because it says here 52 to 62% chance to apply bleed on hit with minion skills. So is that only their... I mean, if that was only their activation, that means that it will not affect the Raptor. But here, if you look on the ability itself, it just says minions chance to bleed on hit. That's all it says. It doesn't say with minion skills. It only says bleed on hit. So I don't know, because as it says here in the bottom, it's created by someone else. It's not affiliated with EHG. So it might not have everything perfect. That might be some kind of typo kind of thing. I'm now just hoping that just means on hit with anything they do ever. That's my hope. So 57% with all the Raptors bleed stuff adding up. It has a 217% chance to bleed per hit, so that means it's stacking 2 stacks per hit. And remember that that's at a approximately 250, 275% attack speeds. So you know that those two stack up pretty fast. And my Sabertooth has approximately 140% chance to bleed, a much lower chance to bleed, but still not too shabby. So yeah, so I think with 140, I think if anything over 100, it's like it's guaranteed 1 stack with like say 140. So that means it's guaranteed one stack, and there's a 40% chance they'll add another stack. Just like if you only had 40% chance, there's a 40% chance they'll add one stack, but it's not guaranteed that you're getting one. I think that's how bleed works in this, or how stacks work in this game. It seems to have equated out to that whenever I've tried experimenting with it, but I don't know. So that seems to be the way it is. So guaranteed 2, guaranteed 1 or 2 on the Raptor, guaranteed 1, or and then 17% chance for 3 on the Raptor, and guaranteed 1, 40% chance for 2 on my Sabertooth. Both of them attacking incredibly fast. So the bleed damage is only half mine, but still, they're just adding stacks on stacks on stacks, which is gonna be super nice. Nothing to calculate in other. They can't shred armor or anything like that. So that, I believe, is everything we got done there. So if I said everything, yep, everything about upheaval I mentioned. Pets jump with me. I went a Fury Leap on land. Yep. You get the frenzy for landing. Pull everything in. Yep. Warcry does invulnerability for a second, pulls them in, 5 blood stacks, berserk, all that good stuff. Yep, everything about Raptor, everything about Sabertooth. So now let's talk about let's go over here to this category, the least exciting ones. Now I just pushed the first thing for these, so obviously I'm not looking for quiver drop rates, but this is I think a quality of life thing that I think they need to change about blessings, is that like half of them I couldn't give 2 fucking shits about, and it's kind of useless stats to me. I mean, yes, if I'm target farming something, cool, but now I don't really, unless it's maybe uniques, but I never really play the game long enough to get to that point where I'm hard farming for specific uniques with 3 to 4 legendary potential, because it just takes an insane amount of time to get to that point in the game. And it just doesn't hold my attention to that point yet, but I'm hoping maybe that'll change. These would be important, but otherwise I don't give 2 fucking shits. So I just put increased experience on everything. But yeah, that's not important. That's not important. That's not important. That's not important. Like, so many of these are not important. Just really like these buggers here. So that's where we get the increased leech rate from. Lightning res, because as you've seen before, our resistances are not amazing, so I need extra help because I don't want to punch too much in my gear or on my specific armor. Chance to bleed on hit, because I wanted those 5 stacks. Cold res and fire res, just pure basic simple, nothing too special, nothing too flashy. Starting for the smaller ones, going up. Increase damage over time and necrotic res, try to help cap off some resistances. Increase damage over time and physical damage for myself and my minions, just tiny low damage increases. Damage over time and physical res, same thing. Over to here, increase bleed duration. This is how we're pumping up those bleed duration numbers. Increase minion melee attack speed is how we got up to those crazy numbers on our melee minions. All our minions, really. Increase bleed duration again. I think these 2 are the same as well. Increase damage over time for more bleed damage, and minion attack speed once again. And the last, health and increase aspect of the shark effect. That's what helped push up our aspect. This plus one other thing, I think, in part of our gear, helped push up the aspect of the shark duration or effect to get it to 97, almost 100% increased attack speed. Again, we would have had it probably around 100% increased attack speed in general, but again, 2-handed axe, very slow weapon, so the extra aspect of the shark effect helped get us to the round where it would be without having an axe, which is really nice, because a 2-handed weapon swinging at 200% increased attack speed is nutty. That's a lot of fucking damage in each of those swings, man. They are coming really fast at you. Alright, and the piece de resistance, the equipment to end this bad boy all out here. Dark Wolf Pelt for the physical damage and minion damage. On it we have a chance to bleed with minion skills, as you saw before, which I hope just means minion hits. Who the fuck knows? Increased bleed duration, which we want to get that tier 7 to try to get it to 9 seconds. Will we ever realistically acquire that? Probably not, because the chance of me getting something that drops with a tier 7 bleed duration with any other stat that I actually want on it, slim. And if anyone actually has a tier 7 Dark Wolf pelt with bleed duration increase at tier 7, it's probably going to cost a pretty fucking penny. Who knows? Crit avoidance and health, because we, as you saw here, we ignored the crit avoidance to get more bleed chance, and didn't have any of it in my passives at all. So yeah, we need crit avoidance in our gear, which luckily most of it is just replacing health, which is why we have so low of health. But hey, it's gonna be fun. And increased health, of course. The bone amulet, because I think this is like the best amulet in the motherfucking game. Like by a long shot. Lightning res is cool. Fire and lightning res is cool, but elemental res are really easy to get. It's physical, necrotic, poison, and void that are harder to come across. This can give you 40 on each is fucking nutty. Less damage over time taken. Freeze rate multiplier. A little bit of mini damage and mini crit. It's okay. Critical strike if you're really pushing for it, sure. It's just, these are just not, most of these amulets are okay to pretty decent, but like when it comes to just 2 resistances, the ones that are harder to get at 40% apiece, the bone amulet's just so fucking broken. Like it's just such a like, yeah, every single fucking like I don't know if I've switched an amulet for any fucking build. It's always bone amulet because it's just fucking broken. Physical damage and mini damage, tier 7 where I can get it. Elemental res again to help out with my resistances because I did not have a lot of that, and health. The Bardish, I don't know how to pronounce it. Bardish, I don't know. Yeah, 0.89 attack speed. That's slow. That's minus 11% attack speed. That's nutty. So it does not really affect it makes my attack speed a lot lower than it should be. Because if you look at those, you add those numbers together, we're looking 143 plus 27. It should be around 170% increase attack speed. We're down to 144 because slow weapon, but 130 melee damage, which is nutty. That's a lot. Plus almost 200% chance to bleed on melee hit just by itself. It's a no-brainer for this build. Increased damage over time, increased physical damage. Try to get that tier 7 of physical because that's almost giving us like 400% increased physical damage. That's fucking nuts. More chance to bleed on there because why the fuck not? And then physical pen and minion pen, which is where we're getting that extra bleed pen and extra. We're giving us over 100% penetration with upheaval as well. So upheaval and bleed, as long as there's no shady fucking modifiers that affect this, or they actually like, oh well, I mean, I guess as long as they're not doing something like, oh well, actually bosses and rares actually have 300% physical resistances, so it's caps at 75, but like it's gonna permanently stay at 75 unless you can penetrate over 300%, which no one can. Huh? We don't give you enough penetration in the game for that. Ha ha ha. It's always 75. Fuck you. Unless they do something like that, which I would not be surprised with these game developers. We're looking at potentially true damage for upheaval and bleed. So very nice. Over to the Kolheim armor, however you pronounce it. For that physical res, 2 levels in upheaval, increased bleed duration, because again, I want that 9 seconds. Hopefully, that's a really good thing. I feel like that's a really good thing, but who knows? Increased health and added health, of course. The second belt in the game that is a absolute no fucking brainer, poison res, which is one of the harder ones to get, and cold res. Compared to every other fucking belt in the game, 3 slots, 4 slots, a little bit of mana, a little bit of armor, some ward decay. Maybe you're going for a ward build, which they've tried to nerf heavily into the ground, so you probably won't, but you never know. Unless you want like 5 slots or some armor, maybe a little bit of mana, maybe some movement speed if you're really trying to bust, but I don't think you need it. Or just endless slots or movement speed. Like literally nothing even comes close to touching how fucking overpowered even baseline 33 poison and 33 cold res is. Like, this is since they released it, and 1.0, I believe, is when they released it, I think. This is a pick for every fucking build, always, ever. I don't even know why these other belts exist. I'm being completely honest with you, I don't know why the other belts exist. Anyways, medium damage, physical damage, pretty consistent on a lot of these pieces of armor. Hybrid health, and crit strike avoidance. Over here, physical minion, again, pretty standard. Health, void res, minion physical, just swapped them. Of course, again, the ivory ring is, I at least have one of these in every single build just because it's so incredibly strong with the resistances. And this one, mini damage, mini health, mini crit strike molt, increased mini damage, physical, obviously trading, getting the tier 7 on minion because, as you saw, we had so much physical damage that I'd rather have more minion damage. And then health, poison res, void res, and poison res, doubling up on that health. Crusader gauntlets are not every single build, but they're pretty close because void res, man. The rest of these are okay, they're decent. Endurance, I do the endurance one on some people. Usually it's such a low level and doesn't give a whole lot of chronic. I don't usually go for that one. Damage over time, that's okay. I've never really had a whole lot of problem with dots that 75% res couldn't handle. Cooldown recovery, if you're just going for a super fast cooldown recovery build, maybe. I have used this on my shaman build for the mana regen because the totems are really expensive when you drop 5 at once. So, like, you know, but most of these will never fucking touch. Crusader gauntlets are pretty fucking strong. Melee attack speed, tier 7, we can get it. Main damage, crit avoidance, hybrid health. Just a fuckload of movement speed because I want to go sonic speed and the increased effect. I think boots are pretty. There's like 3 or 4 really good options for boots, depending on which resistances you might want. You want the fire res, you want the cold res. Those are really good options. The ones that increase haste effect on you, or I mean, I guess you shouldn't get critically strike in general. Yeah, cooldown recovery, stuff like that. Like, there's some options for boots, but strength, because it's not really any other good ones. I could go for vitality, but I want that extra like 32% increased damage. So like, sue I'm going greedy on this build. Hybrid health and health, and then the blood catcher, actually pretty important to this build. Like, most of these are not like, don't really help out the build besides the weapon and the helmet and kind of this ring. Everything else is just defensive, good defenses. This one actually helps on the build as well. 40% up to 40% chance to bleed, and aspect the shark effect increase. Love that. Minion damage, physical damage, pretty standard. Health and chance to apply frailty, because any of the other ones didn't really need any of the other modifiers, and frailty will make them do less damage to me, so I will take that. And yeah, that is the build. That did take over an hour. I should know better to say that this shouldn't take long, but I think it's still going to be faster than the other one, question mark, or around the same exact time. So that is the build I plan on going into the next cycle with, which will drop here in 2 days, so like a day and a half really. Kind of excited for it. I won't be playing it on day 1 because I will be spending all day with my partner that day, but I will probably try recording it maybe that night, because I think I also have the day after that off as well, so I'll probably try recording it that night, probably upload it overnight or next day. So, well, maybe not get it immediately, but because my fingers all dry. But yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking having a spender be your primary damage source, but it only takes 4 mana. Again, I can cast it like, what is it, 26, 20? Yeah, 20, like 26 times before I run out, and that probably will only happen on a boss, especially with how fast we'll be attacking. I can't imagine going too crazy or whatnot, but yeah, if everything maths the way I think it was, if bleed hits as hard as I feel like I've seen it hit before, especially with 25% chance on the Raptor to double up that speed, that sounds fucking nutty. Our damage mitigation, as long as we have the boar up on us, which is a chance we can keep it up permanently in some encounters. The damage reduction is just fucking nutty. Over doubling our health pool that we technically have is nutty. The bleed chance is crazy. 5 stacks. 5 stacks per attack, plus whenever we cast Warcry, another 5 stacks immediately. We jump into them, it creates stacks. I think that might even create double stacks, because I think the Land of Fury Leap counts as a physical hit, so I believe it should bleed. Right? It doesn't count as a melee though. It is a melee physical hit. In theory, that should bleed them, and it also casts Upheaval on land, so that's like potentially 10 stacks Warcry, 15 stacks, and then just 5, 5, 5, 5, while both my pets are just swinging like crazy. Also generating 1 to 2 stacks a pop, like that. The stacks, we should easily get into like the 100 stacks on enemies, like at some point. With 9-second duration, we should easily be getting into the hundreds of stacks on enemies. Which on a boss, 25% chance it's gonna double that up at some. My Raptor will double that up at some point, unless they just one shot and I just can't get it back up. Like that, flying around at 90% increased movement speed most of the time. Actually, whenever I want to just Fury Leap, I believe is what activates it, right? Yeah, whenever I Fury Leap, when I land, I don't have to hit anything. Whenever I land, I just get Fury, and then I cast Warcry to get Berserk. That's already going to be crazy amounts of movement attack speed and whatnot. That's but haste comes from something. I was supposed to look for the haste effect. I did not. Who hasted me again? Am I hasting me? I don't remember. Oh, for 50% chance on hit. So yeah, that's gonna happen a lot. At 200% increased attack speed. It's just the whole kit and caboodle. When I think about it, it's gonna be a lot of fucking fun. I'm really excited for this one. I think it's gonna be a good time. I think it's gonna be a million times easier to pull off than the dodge build, the dodge crit build, and on a person that doesn't really increase their base besides like 7%, which now is like pussy numbers. If I wasn't so gung ho about going for the Dragoon Lance, I probably could have gotten at least a good like 8% increased base. Well, it goes up to 7, so it's pretty much the same thing really for the two-handed, so it would have made a whole lot of difference, but the attack speed would have been crazy. Would have been crazier and whatnot, but yeah. Oh, you know, that's cute, but 23, like a quarter of a crit chance just being based that everything's multiplied by. Fuck out of it, it's broken. Like if you want to go for easy crit, you go BeastMaster. That shit's easy fucking crit, man. That's insane easy crit. Or not BeastMaster, sorry, Druid. You go Druid. That's not on this one. Yeah, that's not this build though. That was the other one I was talking about. But yeah, you go Druid, you get Rageborn, you get Bushstalker, you go Swarmblade, you get that 10% base. Like you're doing stupid shit. But like, yeah, that's not this one. Sorry. I got too excited about the crit and stuff. Yes. Like if we made that work, this one seems like it's 10 times easier to make work. So yeah, I practiced it a little bit. I haven't got too far. I think I'm like level 20 or something, but I'm not going to continue playing it until the new season drops. Yeah, but it was pretty fun. I didn't get the Sabretooth because that's really deep in the build, but until you get the Sabretooth, you replace it with Wolves because they can also have some bleed talents and stuff. But yeah, you get all 4 of these really early on. And so you can start working them immediately. It's what would be considered maybe in Path of Exile a cheap build, because you can purchase it or acquire it really early on. It's a very cheap build that we can get going pretty fast, pretty soon. We just need a chance to bleed, really. And then the rest of it's just kind of passives and idols to kind of extend that bleed duration and effect and attack speed and stuff like that. So like, it's a pretty cheap build. It's pretty simple to come across. So if we made the other really hard one to work, a harder one to get going, this one should be fucking breeze in the park. And the almost 2,000% increased physical damage is fucking nutty. Like, I don't know how much increased damage my Falconer had. Either my Falconer or my minions. But let me... I mean, most of it was in my dexterity. That's why I was getting like 400% increase from my dexterity. Minion, can you save that number? I went for a weird build, man. I went for a weird build. Like, I got an extra 400% to both my minion and to myself. From if you didn't see this before, I try to show you now so you can see it. So I gained 400% really to these numbers because it was all physical from my dexterity. So that really is closer to 600% physical and like 800% physical. But like I was swinging around 500-600% increased damage to like flurry and whatnot. 1,700 to 2,000. This build's gonna fucking melt shit if it. Bring it back up. If it works again, works the way I think it works, I'm gonna fucking melt shit. Oh, fucking melt shit, bro. Holy fuck. It should be a good time. All right. If you're as excited to watch this Harbinger stuff 1.1 with his crazy bleed slam AoE minion companion build, if you're as excited as I am about that, come check that shit out. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope that you got some enjoyment out of this. I hope to see you watch me play through 1.1. I mean, I'm just gonna, instead of listening to all the dialogue this time, I'm just gonna run through the campaign as fast as possible, just sprint through it, and we'll see what we come to. But thank you for joining me here, and I will see you all next time.